Welcome to Talk Purpose and Truth with Eden and Kim, shifting you into higher consciousness, the show that elevates, uplifts, and encourages listeners to grow, heal, awaken, and evolve. Eden and Kim include bold topics, special interviews with inspiring guests, intuitive readings, channeled messages from beyond, including celebrities, hot topics to expand your awareness, and time for questions from the audience. Tune in for unprecedented truth, authenticity, on-purpose discussions, and magical moments.
Hi, ladies. Thank you for having me.
Welcome back.
It's fun to be back.
So, talking about obsessive thinking, how can we, as humans, not just women, but men too, how can we cope with obsessive or fear-based thoughts?
Yeah. So, obsessive thoughts are thoughts without evidence. Sometimes, no matter how much inner work we've done, hours spent in therapy or coaching or, the work that we know we can do, sometimes we go into that negative thought pattern, those fears, right? All coping skills can go out the window. So rumination is the process of continuously thinking about the same thoughts, which tend to be sad or dark. So when it gets dangerous for our mental health is when it impairs our ability to clearly think. So when we're not able to process our emotions, right? And we get emotionally hijacked, and then it intensifies those negative feelings. So first step would be to understand what our obsessive thoughts are, right? Understand them. Second would be to identify the thoughts, name it to tame it, we call it. So when we actually understand and we write it down, there's an exercise called brain dump. Kim, I've talked to you about this. So literally when those thoughts, those feelings are on our mind, to write them down, put them down on paper so as to remove them from the thoughts that keep circling, right? In the OCD workbook, there's an example given on examine these thoughts to understand how they're triggered and how you're currently responding to them. So for instance, triggers for the two of you are not going to be the same as triggers for me based on our upbringing, the things that we've been through. And definitely they're going to be different for us, and the way we react is going to be different. The third would be acceptance, right? Your thoughts are just thoughts, simply that. Stay in the present, stay aware of what you do, and do not stay aware of what you are currently experiencing, what you have control over and what you don't have control over. So can I do anything about this right now? If yes, identify what you can do and do that thing. And if not, do your best to accept that this is what it is for this moment. This moment too shall pass. Deepak Chopra says, thoughts are just fleeting mental images. They have no consequences until you choose to make them important. I love that one. Great reminder. Fourth would be, I would say, meditation and mindfulness. Self-compassion exercises. I always talk about placing your hand on your heart and maybe doing some loving kindness phrases. May I be gentle with myself. May I be kind to myself. So speaking kindly to ourselves. And I would say the other piece of it would be that when we're in that fear-based, remember that again, it's only for this moment. I know it's really hard to believe that, to feel that, because it becomes so overwhelming and we all experience it. But just know that it's going to pass. It's kind of like imagining that there's waves washing over you, right? Steve Leader, I hope I'm saying his name right, wrote a beautiful book recently, The Beauty of What Remains. And he talks about when the things come in, whatever they are, that we can either let the fear, the panic hit us standing up and let the wave crash, take us down, or we can actually lay down and let the water rush or guide over, rush over us, and then get back up.
Okay.
Lots of tools.
I like that one. Yeah. So, and how can someone heal or stop thinking the worst case scenario all the time?
So I would say on that one, negative thoughts again are like an unwanted surprise guest. Okay, so we choose whether or not to invite that guest in. We get to decide whether or not to entertain them. Thoughts have the power that we give them, so choose whether or not to believe in them. There's a great song called "Fear is a Liar" by Zach Williams, and I actually wrote down a few of the lyrics. When he told you you're not good enough, when he told you you're not right, when he told you you're not strong enough to put up a good fight, when he told you you're not worthy, when he told you you're not loved, when he told you you're not beautiful, you'll never be enough. Fear, he is a liar. He will take your breath, stop you in your steps. Fear, he is a liar. He will rob your rest, steal your happiness. Cast your fear in the fire, because fear, he is a liar.
Woo!
Isn't that awesome?
Wow.
I get the chills. Oh, it's such a beautiful song. So fear, right? False evidence appearing real. So you can either ignore it or you can speak into it. And when we talk about speaking into it, make a list of all of the lies, all of the fears, and then next to it, look at what is the actual truth. What is the truth rather than the lie that we're hearing? I hope I answered that, Eden. I don't know if I did or not.
I think,
that was a terrible question. Terrible answer. What?
There's lots.
I'm trying to be funny.
Of ways, and I think a lot of it is, are we entertaining that unwanted guest? I love that. And in my coaching, I've done an exercise with people where I say, okay, go ahead, write your fears down. And then I say, write down all the positive possibilities that you can think of that are the opposite of this fear, that could be something good, that something could be miraculous. And they always can name way more, and sometimes with help, but there are way more positive possibilities, and you realize the fear isn't real.
Yeah. But we all do it, right? We're all guilty of it, that it takes over. I mean, I had some moments this past week myself, and the anxiety it was causing, like shallow breath, I could feel it in my body. I kept trying to push it aside, like put that top on the boiling water, right? The pan or the pot, and it just wasn't going away. Yeah. So finally, actually my husband said to me, he's like, what is it that's showing up for you? He's so good because he's learning from me, but it literally was like, okay, maybe lean into it instead of trying to push it away. And sure enough, when I embraced it and sat down to look at, okay, what's happening around me? Why am I being triggered by this? And how do I come out of this?
And then it helped, right?
Oh, yeah, it took a lot. I'm not going to lie. And it actually was worry that I was having over a family member that I was really concerned about them. And actually, by having a conversation finally with the person and looking at what my fear was, what was coming up for me, that's when it lessened, it relieved.
Awesome.
Because you faced it.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah. Easier for someone else to tell you what to do, but when you're in it, it's a whole other story,
you feel like you're in the fire, right? And you're just wanting somebody maybe to like come in with you. Like, come in, hold my hand, let's walk out of this. And you're wondering, am I gonna make it out? Am I gonna make it out alive? Sometimes it does feel like that.
Right. We all feel like that sometimes. So I think people need to know that they're not the only ones.
Yeah, for sure.
So I know we talked about this at a recent workshop that Stephanie and I did for the Imperfectly Perfect campaign. What do we do if we feel like shutting down or running away? And why does this happen?
So as I shared when you and I did it, I did run away. Sometimes if it becomes overwhelming, we need to take a little time out, right? Do a little soul care. And what I mean by running away is whether that means that you go to your favorite place, if it's the ocean, if it is being around friends, if it's maybe going to church, whatever it is that is going to allow you to be at peace, to bring yourself calm, do that thing, right? One of the things for me, when it came up for me, was that there was just so much that was going on. And I didn't want to talk to certain people about it because I didn't want to show my vulnerability, right? All the authenticity pieces, I kept thinking, okay, I can handle this on my own. Well, the reality came, I couldn't. So I reached out to friends that I knew I could trust, that would hold a sacred space for me. And in that moment, let down my guard, broke down, shared what was going on. After that, it allowed me really to then have people lean into me, to be checking in to say, are you okay? Is there anything we can do to support you in this? I think it's that thing as well, that it takes so much courage to ask for help, right? People don't look at it as courage. It's like, I'm weak, right? Or I should be able to handle this on my own. No, like sometimes we can't. And that step of that courage to say, I need help, that's the best thing that you can do for yourself, really.
Well, and I feel like that there are a lot of people that shut down or run away because they can't face the pain, or they can't face their life, so it's an escape. But then it's not gonna, they find that it doesn't go away. Like they might even move and they take themselves where they go. Or they shut down and then they end up with no one speaking to them and having to start their lives over. You know what I mean? And so I think that it can be a form of escape, and it ends up that the person is more upset or miserable. And so really we have to get to a place where we'll just ask for help and face it, or else we're going to just stay in the problem.
Yeah, without a doubt. And it's true, Kim, it's exactly what you said. It's wherever we go, we take the problems with us, right? The worries with us. Like, unless you're able to leave like your brain at home, right? It's coming with us. And that's that rumination piece, whatever it is that we're thinking about, until we change that mindset. I remember you talking about an exercise, Kim, that was like a physical stopping, right? Like to say stop to yourself, or to tap something different in. There's so many different ways. Splashing cold water on your face. When people say, well, what is that about? It's actually you're actually telling your brain, like you're saying, okay, stop. And it shocks you. Like it kind of like you're wanting to like stop that thinking, right? Stop the crazy thinking. Stop the hamster on the wheel.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we can be in control of that for sure. And sometimes it's that we're in this habitual pattern of being a certain way. So like, let's say we get into a group of people and we shut down and become introverted, and we don't want to, and we get upset at ourselves every time. Like, I just can't open up. I can't connect. Well, we can, but you have to be aware of it. And so it would take showing up and catching yourself about to do that, and maybe walk over to the bathroom first, splash some water on your face, and look in the mirror and go, a courage talk, like I can do this, and then push yourself to go talk to one person, and maybe the next time you would talk to two people. But it's that almost shocking your brain out of that habitual pattern that we have to take action on, or else we're going to always stay the same.
Yeah. Even as you're saying that, the other thing that I love too, that I am affirmations. It's funny because people will talk about affirmations and say, oh, so just by talking into myself, I'm going to change the way I think. Well, it's not that easy. And Louise Hay talks about I am affirmations beautifully, right? Like she was the queen of them. But
totally.
What she talks about is that mirror work. So actually looking in the mirror, looking yourself in the eye and speaking the things to yourself that you need more of. I am lovable. I am worthy. I am strong. I am resilient. I am beautiful. I like speaking those things. Like when we say fake it till we make it, there's a reason. Speak the things into yourself. Allow your heart to cheer yourself. And when you're looking at yourself, because then you can't turn away from it.
Right. Yeah. Look yourself in the eye. I like that.
Yeah.
And it's about taking responsibility.
Responsibility, accountability, acceptance for what it is that I'm going through. And again, how am I going to come out of this?
I think reminding yourself when you're in it that there is a greater purpose. You're going to have wisdom and grace and, gifts from this, as long as you accept it and do the steps to heal and climb out of it.
Yeah, acceptance is huge. And then the other one that always comes to mind for me is granting yourself the grace, right? We don't give ourselves enough grace. And it's that feeling of like, oh, I failed again. I'm down again, and how am I going to get back up? And the reality is, if we don't fall sometimes, we're not going to learn how to get back up, right? You kind of think of like a baby deer. I love watching them, like when they're like stumbling, right? But you've got to learn how to get back up. So sometimes we fall. We all fall. We all have bad moments, down moments, sad moments.
Totally.
I like that you're saying moments.
Because that's the biggest thing, Eden, right? Is when we're in it, it feels like, oh my gosh, this is a life sentence. Like this is the biggest pain, right? Heartbreak. When you're in it, it's real. Like I'm not discrediting the pain that people feel, the pain that all of us feel by any means. It is so hard when you're in it. But if you can just think for a moment, like this is human suffering, this too shall pass. It's going to pass. I can't say it's going to pass in a minute or 5 or 10, right? But it's going to pass. We're going to find a way. So what are those tools that you can do? Is it breathing? Is it picking up the phone and calling a friend? Is it saying a prayer? Spending time in meditation, taking your dog out for a walk if you have a pet. Pets are amazing for lifting spirits. That's why pet therapy, right? So just find what works for you.
Okay, beautiful. So kind of along the same lines, there's, you're talking about taking responsibility, asking for help, but there's a stigma around asking for help, around mental illness or any kind of issues that you have, mental issues that people might have. So I guess, can you talk more about that, and how can we overcome that stigma so that more people will ask for help?
I think definitely what the two of you are doing, right? And people that are out there that are speaking about what they've been through, what they've overcome, how they've walked out of it on the other side. Reality is, for a lot of us, there are traumatic moments, events, pain in our life. With this being, May being Mental Health Awareness Month, right? Talk about it. Honor the fact that it exists, that we have downtimes. Again, I think that the piece of knowing that to ask for help, that is a courageous step. Doesn't make you weak, doesn't mean that you can't overcome this. But the more that we talk about it, I love the people that are out there that are sharing the moments that they've been through. I know for me and my coaching and the work that I do, I am so transparent and authentic and real, and I will share stories not to make it about me, but so that the client can see, okay, she's been through this. There is some hope out there, right? It allows somebody to remain, like, hold on to that faith, right? Faith over fear. I mean, That's a saying that I say a lot, and I know in the moment easier said than done. But if we can lean into that and believe that, again, this is just for a moment in time. So talk about it. Talk to your friends. Talk to your family. In the last, 2 weeks, I've had more close friends reach out to me to let me know about specific things that they are going through, struggles, and saying, I need you to pray for me because I can't even pray for myself right now. I need you to hold me accountable. I need you to hold me in that sacred space that you talk about. And I'm always so honored when they call. And at the same time, it's always, what can I do for you? How can I show up for you the way that you need me to, right? Because that's the other piece. Not everybody is going to show up for you the way that you need them to. We have friends that help us laugh through the pain. We have friends that help us cry through the pain. But you can only show up as yourself to help somebody. Otherwise, it's not going to feel authentic to the person.
For more information on Eden, go to edensustin.com. For more information on Kim, go to kimlifecoach.com. Make sure to follow them on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Talk Purpose and Truth Podcast. If you loved this episode, you'll love every episode. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. Thank you for listening.